Hello, streaming to live on Rumble. I'm Gordon with Unlock Your Bioenergy. Today is episode number 301, and it's June 16th, 2026. And the countdown is on. 95 days are left to my big 50th birthday. And it's day number 425 wearing the incredible X39. Today's workout's going to be a 9-minute warm-up and push day exercises. And then I will replay the Let's Talk More About IR because I realized when I watched the replay, the audio didn't play, and it was actually very good. So I don't want to lose sight of that and sharing that information with you. So, it's been an interesting day so far, largely because a storm ripped through the area today, and there was a large amount of hail that fell, and I'm disappointed because one of the plants that's growing outside got mangled from the hail. And it just bothers me because of the things that I, been made aware of the last 5 years. For all those people that know about seeding and perhaps even weather modification, that's what I'm alluding to. And I don't want to hear any of these stories or any of these comments. Oh, that's a theory of sorts. I don't know. It's just too coincidental that things are happening the way they are. So I'm going to put the X49, one on each wrist here, to basically tap my body, and the shoulder goes. Maybe produce some AHK, copper peptides. Force the body to synthesize it. In addition to the X39, which is right here. Excuse me. So, after today's workout, which will be, I'll do the, that's yesterday. Should read right away, hopefully. There, that's good. So, synced up quite nicely. Today's tempo, which I will play, let's see, that's good, it's working. I'll set it at a little bit slower than what I did yesterday, which will be at 144. And I'm just gonna tighten my shorts here so I don't get distracted. And there's the metronome. And I'll do a 9-minute warm-up, not the hit. So that'll be 6 minutes, and then I will try to do 2.5-minute bursts at the end to see how it feels. So start off with heart rate here. Let's begin. So today's title realized that I didn't update the date in the subject heading, so my apologies for that. Today is episode number 301. And today's date is June 16th, 2026. Switch this around this side here. So another day where my pulse goes up over 200, and a lot of it has to do with how I can control my breathing rate. It's everything. And to maintain that intensity of the double unders and then alternating back and forth between double unders and that of running step. If I disrupt my breathing rate, then it affects how I'm able to still do it. But in essence, what I'm doing is forcing my cardiovascular system to work harder, essentially, without breathing so much. And then as soon as I start breathing, my cardiovascular system recovers, and it reflects in my heart rate. As you can see now already, it's back down to 97, and it hasn't even been 2 minutes yet. And on top of that, I'm talking. So I think it's a direct reflection on how good my VO2 numbers are. And when I get that testing done, I think it's going to validate a lot of things and prove to you that what I'm saying has a lot of credibility when I'm talking about the X49, the X39, and combining it with deuterium depleted water. Just before coming downstairs to the basement here, I did have 1 pinch of Celtic sea salt, and I basically crunched the crystals in my mouth with my teeth, and then allowed my saliva to dissolve the salt, and that way it absorbs directly into my bloodstream by way of my gums, because it's absorbing it. And doing so, it increases the magnesium percentage, for one, and then when you drink the water, that water gets absorbed. And that's one of the reasons why I can control my breathing rate and still maintain a high heart rate, a very high heart rate. And it's no fluke that it happens. So with that, today's exercises are going to be push based. And yesterday I had discovered that this band here is has got a tear in it, so I'm going to try to glue it for now to see if it'll hold with what do you call it, shoe glue. I'm not 100% sure that it's going to do their good job, because once these bands get stretched and they go through that process of being used, they do wear out, just, and to be expected. So the first exercise, I'm going to use the black bands, and what I'm going to do is just realized that I'm not very prepared today. So I'm going to take this anchor off here, or no, I don't really need to do that. I changed my mind. So I'm going to put there's a black band here. I'm going to use this anchor point today, and then take a second one here. And then I'm going to layer up some bands to okay, I need 6. So if I had 2 white or 2 yellow bands here. I would put that on here like this. So yellow and yellow, and then that would equate to the purple band. But instead, what I'm going to do is take a green band and put it on each side. So it's going to be slightly heavier than what the purple band would be. So, which is okay. I'm going to put a green band here. So basically I am stacking the weight. That's the word I was looking for. And this is the nice thing about this band set. You can do that. And okay. And I just realized I should take this one here and put that one on instead of that other green. Same generation. Silly me not thinking. Alright. Oh. Disorganized today, but that's okay. Alright, so stacking the same generation of bands here, and I'm going to take the vibration plate and place it just right kind of away from the wall, so my feet are going to go against the wall. Yes. And so by taking the bands here, yes, why is that happening? I don't know. Okay. So yeah, play. So the idea is to mimic a weighted dip. So by holding the bands like this, you can lean a little bit forward, and that way it targets the lower chest just a little bit more. So this weight is more than what I would normally do with the purple bands. And I can tell the difference. It's good. Tension is still on the lower pectoral. Gosh, oh my. next up is the upper chest. So that's where I'm gonna do the variation that I did last week, which was standing version of it. So I'm gonna take these ankle straps off this set of bands, and I'm going to use the I suppose I could use similar weight. I should use similar weight. Why not? Okay. So with this one here, I'm going to take the two bands and sift them through. And I'm going to do it the same thing here, this way. And I'm going to sift them through the other side here. So basically, to make it shorten the slack, and I might okay. So taking the other set of bands, and they're both gonna sift that through there, and then sift this through the center, and then again through the other side. And again, the purpose is to reduce the slack. Alright. So this time I'm doing heavier, like and then I don't know how this is gonna go, but we're gonna find out. I need to be slightly farther away. Yeah, something like that. So with this here, I'm going to do kind of like a bench version, so I'm going to have the vibration, and then I'm going to press a little bit more upwards. I'm going to do one test with a rep here, just a tent. Oh wow, that's a lot of weight. I don't want to hurt myself. So I'm going to take the green one out. I probably should have predicted this, but so I'm unstacking the weight here, and this is the challenging part. Is to do this. It's kind of not as simple as, especially for this particular setup, which is okay. Alright, so here, take that out so they don't rub against each other. Okay, let's try this one again. This time okay, that's good. So I'm holding it up higher. And with the exercise ball behind me, it creates a nice flat surface, and I'm pushing all the resistance from the bands through. Wow. Wow, I can feel the tension all the way through. It's very good. So there's nothing here, but as soon as I kind of move at this point here, I can feel the tension now. And wow. All right, so with that exercise done, the next one is medial, and that's where I'm going to take the Bosu ball and I'm going to place it on the floor along with, just losing my balance momentarily there, and I'm going to take these non-slip mats, place them there, and grab the these pieces of wood. They're not 2x4s, they're 0.5s by 4. So instead of 2 inches, it's half an inch thick. And then I'm going to take these guys, place them there, so that way I can get a wide grip. I want basically to press this movement. And take the Bosu ball, kind of raise that so it's higher. And one thing I did last week, I remember now, is I took this. Did I raise it? Never mind. We'll just stick with it. Oh no, actually I did raise it. I think I just took this guy. doing that, basically I'm raising my feet level to match that with the handles here. There, yeah, that's what I did. Okay. So, here we go. So Y point. And the idea is to make sure that you have a stiff posterior chain. So meaning lock the glutes, lock the core, and that way all the tension, all the weight is traveling to the pectoral. Good. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Hard to push out. That's a sticking point. Oh, wow. Wow. To get that, to be fully strong with that vibration, it's tough. It's tough. Because there's a lot of activation that's happening. And the muscle's getting fatigued faster because you're trying to hold that position. And if you're looking to hit failure faster, it's a very good technique to do it. I strongly recommend trying it. Alright, next up is the flies. So I'm going to take the red bands here. I need to take this off here. This, and then an ankle strap. All right, so take the vibration plate and place it somewhere here in the center. And now guesstimate the length. Just a little bit more to the left, marginally. There, seems about right. Okay, now taking the straps and putting them on my elbows. And you can hold this in your hand if you wish, but then you'll find that your elbows will bend. And I really try to limit that. Okay, so by taking the bands now, you're going to squeeze the elbows together. And you crisscross them like this. So keep the knees straight or the legs straight, so that way more of the vibration travels up the torso. Clap your hands if you wish. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. So here, now I'm gonna raise my elbows while holding that position. So by focusing on the sternum fibers, the chest, this is the inner chest. So you could take I could take a secondary third band and put it behind me and press it forward to kind of mimic a press, and as well another variation that I've done in the past is by actually lying on my back on the vibration plate itself and pressing. And I probably should try to do that again in the future, just to switch it up a little bit while I'm doing the fly. So I have a kind of like a three-dimensional type version of this, and that felt good. To be able to execute that tension all the way through and work the inner chest. Alright, so next is tricep extensions. So basically focusing on the triceps from a stretched position. And with that, I'm going to take these red bands here. I'm going to change the position here. So one is lower, and I'm going to grab this one here. And place this one slightly higher. Yeah, somewhere here. Because I want the tension to be on as much tension on the tricep as possible from the stretched position. So this is going to mimic as if I'm throwing a basketball or baseball. So basically, you know, like this here, and whoop. So working the muscle from the stretched point. And so if you're looking to improve your three-pointers, this is a good way to strengthen that part of the arm or the tricep to allow you to do that, especially in the off season now, unless you're consistently outside. Oh, really? Okay, so with this exercise here, so the idea is to press here so the bands are pulling on the stretched area of the tricep. So, and with the bands here, there's tension right here. So, and working the tricep to its fully stretched position. So similar to how I do the quadriceps, I use the same principles, and that way they're getting worked all the way down to the stretched position. So by lowering the elbows, you change the tension a little bit, so it's more perpendicular to the joint. So if you raise them, then it gets all the way down to the stretch point. Oh my. And because the bands are attached kind of halfway through, I'm able to stiffen my posterior chain and the anterior and make sure that the triceps are doing the work. Wow. And because my elbows are above my head, the blood stops at the tricep. Wow. All right, the next exercise is going to focus on the hold portion of the So what I'm going to do is take this band one's going to hold, but I want some tension to be applied from a higher anchor point. So I'm just going to switch this up and purposely change the tension kind of where it starts. Oh. Okay, do it this way. Okay, so the idea is to have tension kind of starting here, kind of in a spot that is okay, slightly more, just a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So that way the band is on the bottom anchor here is not so loose. Maybe slightly more. Alright, so I want to do kind of like the Wolverines. So essentially stiffen the anterior and posterior chain. And make sure that the tricep is doing the work. Have the lats kind of get involved with this, so your lats, if they're not strong, you won't be able to hold this position. Hold the elbows in place. So the work that you do the day before should help with this. Wow. Okay, so that's it for the exercises today. Took slightly longer to get through them, so I apologize for that. So let's have a look at the heart rate results for today. So today's date stamp here I'm going to show you is June 16th, 2026. All right, starting time was at 2:48 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And maximum heart rate I hit today was 209. So you can see that there, 209 today. And I was in that heart rate zone for only 4 seconds. So, whereas the balance of that, so 187 to 208, I was in that zone for, here I'll show you, for 2 minutes and 4 seconds. So, it's kind of interesting to see these variances from week to week, and goes to show that I still have it in the tank to demonstrate. And I even changed the position of the heart rate monitor to prove that, you know, if I put it, whether sensor here or here, it doesn't matter. Oops, here or here, it reads the same. And for me, that is another way of validating that the technology I'm using is legitimately good, and it reflects in my heart rate and, you know, in my results. So, and then after that, my heart rate was just kind of, whoops, here, hovered around the 100, 120, 75 to 120 range. So for the balance of the workout, overall, solid effort today. So there is a, how would you say, for me, when I'm experiencing these heart rates, there's a pace where I can tolerate when breathing, let's say oxygen levels are lower in my body, and that's caused by me. So, and you can't see that unless there was frozen air in the room here, and you would see my breathing, right? But this is why I'm saying the VO2 testing, or the third-party VO2 testing that I'm looking at getting done, will validate a few things and what I'm saying. So with that, it brings me to my last topic, which was the replay of the presentation that I had yesterday, because the audio somehow you couldn't hear it when I played it. So I'm going to replay that today. That's a short little presentation. So here we go. Whoops.
Are you holding an umbrella?
90% of visible skin aging is from the sun. Look, guys, I know I'm hellish, but I genuinely love the sun. That said, UV damages collagen, elastin, and DNA, which ages your skin.
Look, Brian is totally right. UV light does damage collagen, elastin, and DNA, but UV light is not the sun. I got the science. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's first look at the sunlight spectrum. Only 0.13% of sunlight is UVB, and around 9% of sunlight is UVA. So less than 10% of the full spectrum of sunlight is UV light. And greater than 50% of sunlight is infrared, this invisible light wavelength that actually increases collagen production and increases elastin. We also know that when UV light actually shines on the skin and breaks DNA, p53 is actually increased, which is a tumor suppressor protein that regulates cell division and tumor formation. We have great literature showing that when you shine near infrared light prior to UV exposure, and we measure erythema, basically the redness of the skin, we see that the near infrared light reduces erythema prior to UV exposure. We can also take skin cells, put it in a petri dish, shine UVA light, and what we see is a 50% reduction in the cell viability. The cells die off. But when we shine UVA light plus near infrared light, the cell viability goes right back to baseline, as if the UV light doesn't even play a role at all. And that's what we're seeing here. We have a majority of infrared light in the sunlight spectrum compared to UV. So the majority of the sunlight spectrum increases collagen, increases elastin, and preconditions the skin to UV light. Now let's look at what the UV is actually doing, because yes, UV in isolation, as we see here, damages the cells, what Brian Johnson is saying, but UV does not equate to sunlight. Now we have DNA repair mechanisms all throughout our body, and the primary mechanism to remove UV induced DNA damage is what's called nucleotide exclusion repair, or NER, N-E-R. And NER, guess what? is controlled by our circadian rhythm. And our circadian rhythm is controlled by the light that we expose our eyes to. NER gets expressed the most during the day at peak UV hours and flattens at night. If our circadian rhythm is misaligned, NER does not get expressed properly. It either has a flattened curve or the curve is shifted, and our DNA repair mechanism, the primary one to remove UV-induced DNA damage, gets disrupted and we can't repair the DNA properly. So yes, UV in isolation does damage DNA, does damage collagen and elastin, but the vast majority of sunlight is not UV. Only a small percentage of sunlight is UV. The majority of it is infrared, which improves collagen production, improves elastin, and preconditions the skin to UV exposure. So when we think of the sun, we shouldn't just think of this ball in the sky that we should avoid at all costs. We should embrace the sun. We should get proper sun exposure, safe sun exposure, and not viewing it as this big bad ball.
So, not viewing the sun as the big bad ball, which is a very important statement, because a lot of people, when they walk around outside, they're also wearing sunglasses, you know, to block the sunlight. And that has negative effects on your body's ability to produce melanin. Not melatonin, melanin. And melanin is the defense mechanism that your body releases by way of the sunlight through your eyes, and that way you don't sunburn as easily. And this is important because the amount of toxins too that you consume or that you accumulate also accumulate in the skin, and that's what burns. So, you know, you have to be aware of your inputs over time, that it's going to drastically affect how your body responds and defends itself from the light. So there is such thing as too much sunlight and not enough. So this is why I'm saying that, you know, with the X39, it's reflecting the infrared light that your body emits back into your skin. So essentially triggering that process of photobiomodulation in the same way that the sun does, with the specific wavelengths of light. Now, do I say you have to have this? Depends where you live. If you live closer to the equator, anywhere around the world, well, you're going to have adequate levels of sunlight. So can you reap the benefits of drinking the cleanest and most absorbable water? Perhaps. That might be maybe what your body is desiring. But if you live farther away from the equator, like I do, whether you're in Australia or let's say in northern Canada or anywhere in northern parts of Europe, well, this here is going to play a very important role in managing and balancing out the lack of sun that you don't get for parts of the year. So right now in Australia, the days are pretty short because the sun is here on the northern, above, you know, the summer solstice. And the winter solstice in Australia is getting the sun, right? And so those are two parts of the world, like, or even in South America or in Africa, for example, the southernmost parts, you know, they basically experience the same amount of daylight, but at opposite times of the year. So can you use this to help offset that, to balance your body? Yes, you can. I think it's probably a useful tool, and it can fit into your lifestyle. You don't have to, you know, really make strong. It's not an inconvenience. What I'm trying to say, to put this on the back of your neck like I do here, and you take it off before you go to bed. That's it. So you want to give your body a break from the light, because then it becomes too how would you say? It's like when you are training a muscle. If you want the muscle to respond, you have to change the stimulus kind of thing, and the duration and the type. So is there differences between, different patches, like in terms of how it responds? I think so, because I can tell the amount of signal that my body gets. It's distinct to me. I recognize this. So, wearing different patches on different days, new patches, you're gonna feel different. And for me, I really notice the sensation after I drink deuterium depleted water, DDW for short. And the reason being because the water is the cleanest and most absorbable, and meaning at the isotope level. So the water just gets sucked in. And when I have the three forms of magnesium floating around in my body, well, then I'm going to reap the benefits. And I continue to reap the benefits. So there's no coincidence that, hey, I can have heart rates that go about 200 and I'm still here telling you this story after it happened. Most people would think that I should be flatlined and laying flat on my face on the concrete behind me. But I'm not. I'm here. I'm still alive. Why is it? Is it the combination of the things that I'm doing? Gee, I wonder. And with me turning 50 on September 20th, 2026, that is 95 days away. How is it that yours truly is alive and kicking? And I have a nice physique. I'm not, how would you say, super shredded, if you want to say that, because I do have a little, thicker skin. But my skin is healthy. It's elastic. Like here, you see how it responds back. That's elastic. That's elasticity. And a lot of that has to do with my body's ability to synthesize that GHK tripeptide. And when copper is floating around, then guess what? Magnesium, all these good things, they start coming together like this. And not only do I have elastic skin, I have good elasticity in the fascia and in the muscle. So I can lift pretty heavy weight. I can bent over row the 70-pound weights, no problem behind me. No problem. Easy. Can I squat heavier? I think so. Even though I'm lifting, squatting the way I am, like, I'm pretty sure my numbers are pretty good. I'm just throwing it out there. Now, should I test it? Maybe I might do that too. At the place where I'm thinking about getting a third-party VO2 testing. I know they have a Smith machine and weights, so maybe I can test what my max is. 1 rep max. I don't know. And I wouldn't be afraid to do it either. So today's another edition of Unlock Your Bioenergy. It's Tacky Tuesday, episode number 301. Although I messed up the subject heading, which I'll correct after I'm done uploading here. But remember the 3 amigos, aka the aminos, for each tripeptide, and that includes glutathione in the body. So you have AHKCU, GHKCU, and glutathione. So you can see on the screen the amino acids that your body needs. And then when you tap your body on the shoulder, like I say, like this, here it goes, tick, 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 whether it's the YH Renew, taps the body, gets its attention to do something, and that light is very well known to do that. And then you can experience the benefits. Scan the QR code as you see right there to take you to unlockyourBioenergy.GoDaddySites.com, or click on the link in the description, which will take you to the website, and you can find additional information that I've posted there over and above what I talk about on a daily basis. And when you're ready to pull the trigger for X39, remember that Amazon and Walmart are not authorized distributors of the X39, nor the X49 or any of the patches, the phototherapy patches. You are wasting your money if you purchase from those distributors, because they're trying to steal your money and they want to sway you away from healing yourself. Don't fall victim to that. Experience the benefits as you see on the screen. Live a healthy lifestyle, and you're on your way to living well, live long, and to live young. So that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Eat well, sleep well. Bye for now.